champions, Fire Nation. I really hope you enjoyed that interview with JLD as much as I did. Check out all of his free classes and all of his resources in the description box. He's here to help you ignite champions in Fire Nation. Do me a favor, comment and share this with a friend if you enjoyed it. I love you guys. You are infinite in value. First of all, I should have started this way, and I really want to say thank you for your service. I'm a veteran too, and that's one thing. Yes, thank you, sir.
I knew we connected on
hit the wall, but
I know we connected.
Do you remember that you're talking about the phone calls, right? On the phone when you called me twice.
I called you 2 times. We had some great conversations there, and I knew that when we met on video, it was going to be pure magic.
You're so sweet, man. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge you and really appreciate you, though, because you have no idea, like, what I'm going through and what this really means to me right now. We don't need to talk about me, but I'm so grateful. I love you. Hey, I believe you, and that's why you're here. And I want to meet Kate because I have the goal of best wife ever, right? But I was going to tell you, that podcast, I was doing I had what do you call it? A breakthrough. And I was thinking, I was listening to like a binge of your podcast today and past few days. And I'm like, I need to get more information, right? And this is amazing. You really do drop the value bombs. But you were talking about, and you got all the show notes, you got everything. So, but you were talking about, I can't remember who the guy was, but he was saying, and you were talking about over delivering, right? And that's what you're doing right now. You have a fan for life, but not a friend, customer, friend. It's the same thing, family, that's the way it should be. We talked about that, right? But really, I don't think it's, in a way, it's not over delivering because we're just doing what we should be doing, right? You're not over delivering. You're over delivering on the expectation. You're exceeding people's expectations, and that's my whole goal too. Like just giving as much value just because you care.
And that's a powerful message that I'll kind of take a second to expound upon. It's a phrase that I use a lot on my podcast. It's called doing things that don't scale. Do things that don't scale. Let me give you just a clear example. Like for anybody that's watching or listening to us right now, I'll get questions from my audience all the time saying, John, I launched this course or this product or this service or this podcast or this YouTube channel, and I can't seem to grow. I don't seem to really know how to get my audience to get bigger. And I ask them all the time, well, how many of your current listeners have you spoken to one-on-one? And they go, what do you mean speaking to my listeners? I mean, that's trading time for money. Like that's not scalable. That's not leverageable. And I look at them and I say, you need to do things that don't scale more so now than ever in the future, because right now is the time when you have the time, when you have the ability to actually jump on a phone call like you and I've jumped on before, and you ask them these questions. And by the way, this is for anybody that has a podcast, a YouTube channel, a course, a product, a service, anything, an Instagram following. You get on a call with as many of your followers as possible. And you say, number one, hey, how'd you hear about me? I would love to know how you heard about me. So when I can hear from my listeners how they found Entrepreneurs on Fire, I can start to pour some igniter fluid on that. And that's exciting stuff. And I like to ask them, number two, what don't you like about my show? Like, let's be honest. I'd love to know what you don't like. And when I hear feedback from one person, I don't make a change on my show. But if I hear a common theme from 5, 7, 10 people about the same thing they don't necessarily like or love about my show, then maybe I make a change. And then on the third question I always ask them is, what do you like about my show? And I'm really curious to know, what is it that they definitely really like? Because sometimes I'm surprised. Like people are just like, John, I just love when you ask the question, what is your favorite book recommendation? Like I thought that was just kind of a small little throwaway question, but so many people told me that was such a big, important question, because they would then take that answer and they would then go and read those books and expand their universes. And I was hoping that would be the case, but hearing it from my actual listeners and knowing that it was real is a reason why I kept that question in there for 2,000 episodes in a row. And I changed other questions in the lightning round, but never that question, because I got feedback directly from my listeners. And then number 4, and this is the most important question to ask, what's your biggest struggle right now? Because if I can hear from my listeners, my audience, my followers, what their biggest struggle in the world is right now, and that I can create a solution for them to that struggle, that's my product. That's my service. That's the
Mm-hmm.
community that I'll build. That's a solution that I will provide to the world, that I'll be able to take things to that next level. So I love that you listen, Liberty. I love your energy, your vibe. I mean, it just means a lot to me with the amount of work that we put in, myself, Kate, the Entrepreneurs on Fire team, to hear from people like you who listen to the shows, read the show notes pages, implement the knowledge that we're trying to pass along, from me, but also from, of course, all of the guests that I have on. So I want to come back and say thank you. And the last thing I'll say before I pass the mic back over to you
Mm-hmm.
is right at the beginning, you were like, you need to make people like these raving fans. And I call them evangelists. Like when I jump on a
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one phone call with you,
Tony
one that
Robbins said
one
that.
one one that we didn't record, by the way. It was just you and me. Nobody ever heard that conversation the two of us had. So many people be like, John, how can you justify the time that you spent with just one person? You're making millions of dollars per year, but you're having a one-on-one phone. I'm like, do you realize now that Liberty like knows that I actually care about her, because I
Right,
do, that I care
right.
about like thoughts, feelings, wants, desires, and I do. And the evangelist that I turned you into for Entrepreneurs on Fire, just like I'm an evangelist for what you do now from our conversation, because I'm like the passion that she has and the excitement that, and all these different things, like that fires me up. And so like by having that one-on-one conversation, we became evangelists for each other. And now we're out there,
Yeah,
next time I
right.
hear somebody talking about you, I'm going to be like, it's just such a great person. Multiple conversations I've had, like just doing great things in the world.